There were many things going on in the church that weren't exactly kosher. But that being said, and I know Miriam's going to touch on this, Christ promised to not leave his church alone. He gave us the gift of the Holy Spirit and the infallibility of the papacy. So I don't know if you want to talk more on that now or later, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think that's ultimately what it comes down to, especially when we're talking to other Christians. They are, especially if they're talking about, you know, like, okay, we rely on the Bible alone as our source of authority. That itself, that presupposition that the Bible has that authority is based on the canon that the Catholic councils put together.
Yeah, who gave you the Bible? Because the Bible didn't beam down from heaven, right?
They didn't have in the days of the apostles, after Jesus had already been risen and ascended into heaven. When they were going around preaching the gospel, they weren't handing people New Testaments.
Right.
They were going out.
Because they hadn't written it yet.
They hadn't written it. They were being written. They weren't even like officially compiled until like 390-ish or somewhere around that time.
Council of Carthage, I think, and then they reiterated again at the Council of Rome, and then it continues all the way through the Council of Nicaea with them saying, no, this is canon. Nothing else is canon.
Right,
Stop pretending like other things
and there
are
were
canon.
still, I'm actually going through a book right now. It's called A Biblical Defense of Catholicism. It's by Dave Armstrong.
Cool.
And he actually has like an entire section talking about the canon of the Bible and how, like, what books were referenced by which church fathers early on in the church, and which of them like ended up being part of the Bible, which were kind of like rejected by multiple different church fathers and things like that. And it's like, it wasn't completely agreed on until the church sat down and was like, all right, which books are divinely inspired and need to be in the Bible? Like in this.
It was debated. There was like, there's a lot of like, and you were talking about in the last episode of like a list of books that we're not supposed to read. And that's no longer like officially a thing, but some of them were like these, they were like, I forget what the
Gospel
word is.
of Thomas is one.
Yeah, the Gospel of Thomas.
The Deuterocanonic, or the Apocrypha. Sorry, the actual Apocrypha. The Protestants will call the books that Martin Luther removed the Apocrypha, but the real Apocrypha was...
The real Apocrypha was the Gospel of Thomas. There was a Gospel of Peter, I believe. There was a Gospel of Young.
There were a bunch of...
I think there were there was a Gospel of Jude.
The Youth Gospel of Jesus, I believe, which is also
attributed
to Thomas, I believe.
It's talking about it when he was a little kid and all this weird stuff.
Well, that one's super, like, that one was, like, heretical from the get-go.
According to those, he killed a kid,
Yeah, he killed a kid. It's crazy.
What?
It's whack.
He killed a slave and all this stuff. Once again, nonsense.
I don't know. Look it up for your entertainment. It's not really
It's
funny.
interesting for historical context.
I don't know. But, yeah, there was, like, a lot of books that were...
I mean, because they just take it for granted that because they have this, that it has authority. And it's like, you're relying on the church's authority to say that these books were inspired because God didn't just give us the list.
The church gave you the book.
And not only that, but God gave us his word, and he gave it to us through these fallible people, but it is his infallible word, and he's using it to communicate to us who he is, who we are, our story, how we're supposed to have a relationship with him, how we're supposed to worship him, what we have to do to be with him forever, because that is our ultimate purpose. For him to have all of that written down into a book to give to us and then say, well, I guess just read it and see what you think, I guess, doesn't make any sense for him not to establish an infallible interpreter. And I think it makes sense that it's not just one person. Jesus established a church and said, I'm giving you the Holy Spirit to guide you, and whatever you bind or loose in heaven will be whatever. Right, exactly. He gives them the authority to do that, the authority to teach. And so when people say, oh, it's a circular argument, you're saying that the Catholic Church gives the Bible authority. It's like, no, your argument is circular because you're saying the Bible gives the Bible authority. And we're saying
every holy book makes the claim that it's holy because it's holy. Just trust it, right?
Exactly.
The same arguments for Sola Scriptura apply to the Quran or apply to the Book of Mormon.
Whoa, hey, you made it to the end of the video. Way to go. Congratulations. Good for you. That's hard to do nowadays. If you have a second, could you please drop us a like, subscribe, and if you really enjoyed this episode, go check out our full Honest to God. This is just a clip. There's so much more to this.